Hey, it's Bubba Wallace from 2311 Racing. You know what feels like forever? Sitting on a plane waiting for takeoff. Good thing I've got Chumba Casino. With daily boost and social casino games on tap, this is the kind of fun that makes time fly. Why not turbocharge your downtime? Play now at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, what's up? It's Marc Clark. Welcome to today's episode of Be the Father You Always Wanted. Special episode for me today. I started this podcast as someone who was raised by a single mom, and the title, Be the Father You Always Wanted, applies for those people. I've heard people say, well, I don't know how to be a father because my father wasn't a part of my life. My answer to that is, as someone who was in that same predicament, be the father you always wanted. Meaning, when you become a father, give your kids what you missed. Now, some will say maybe you don't know what you missed. But first, if you lead by love, that's going to help answer a lot of the questions. And then be the father you always wanted. That's what the podcast is about. Now, recently, I lost the most significant father figure in my life. I was blessed to meet my father-in-law almost 20 years ago. And as someone who, again, was not raised with a father in the household, I was blessed to have male neighbors and uncles and different men that I probably leaned on for father-like advice, or even just for images of what a father should look like. And then when I met my wife, I was plugged into a family, and I had the blessing of becoming the son-in-law to Reverend LaFayette Seymour. Again, the man I always say is probably the smartest man I know, and definitely the most special spiritually person I've ever met, and someone who influenced me greatly, a man who answered so many questions, my lifetime questions about religion, a man who was just a sage, I call him, in that his world experience, his life experience, his probably multiple lifetime experiences made him the kind of person you run into maybe once every 100 years. People who know him always remember him. People who are blessed enough to attend his services never forget. And most who come in contact, their lives were changed for the good. So today, I just wanted to dedicate this to Reverend LaFayette Seymour, not only my father-in-law, but my friend. For the last 10 months or so, I've been his primary caregiver. And in that time, I've had a chance to listen to the stories, to ask the questions, to really just pick the mind of, again, a brilliant, loving man. And, you know, when I look at my wife and I look at my kids and I look at my life, you start to realize we all are special. And as Dad would say, God has given us everything we need to live the life that we need to live. Everything is there. It's in there. And it's led by love. I always say, when I look at how special Allison loves me, it's because of her dad. Her belief in men, her belief in her dad, her love for her dad allows her to believe in me and to love me. And I think this is such a huge cornerstone, a building block, if you will, for these relationships that we have in our lives. And seeing that, I'm very conscious of that with how I interact with my daughters and also how I live my life, trying to be the best example. We fall short, of course, but trying to be the best example. But again, my relationship with my father-in-law went well past the father-in-law. I mean, Dad became a super close friend. He became, my confidant. And really, just as we actually prepare for his service, his celebration of life, it really just makes me just so filled with love and thankfulness and appreciation that I had a chance to share the space with this man. It's interesting. The emotions start to come because I really do love him, and I appreciate him. And my kids are funny. We were talking about Dad, and somebody said, "Was Dad an alien?" And when I think about it, I think so. Dad always said we were, we were divine beings going through a human experience. And the divine part with Dad was so obvious that the physical shell, especially with what he had to deal with Parkinson's and limited mobility and double vision because of an accident years ago, the physical manifestation, the outer shell, was jacked up a bit. But the divine part was so apparent that now that Dad has ascended, has, in a sense, physically left us, his spirit is all around us. And that's the lesson that he always shared. And it really is the case. As we miss his physical body here in the house, we feel him all around us. And I'm sure I will feel him for the rest of my life. And his example, he is his example. And I think it just gives me not only hope and support and security about what awaits when we leave this physical world, it just really confirms teachings that he's left us with his whole life. And I just wanted to say thank you, Dad, and as you would say, thank you, Father. I am so thankful. I am so thankful. I am so thankful for Reverend LaFayette Seymour, my father-in-law, my friend. Again, this is dedicated to you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to my podcast and supporting what I do. You have a blessed day.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.